Okay, we're underneath the hood of our 1968 Camaro. It's a 350 Chevy engine, Edelbrock intake manifold, aluminum of course, AFB carburetor on it, ceramic coated long tube headers, look like to be about 1 5/8". All chrome components in the front, all your pulley wheels, your dampener wheel, everything on it is all chrome. New alternator, chrome valve pan covers and air cleaner top, Edelbrock of course. New plug wires, new power brake booster, new proportioning valve for the brakes, aluminum radiator. This particular car has air conditioning, vintage air installed on it, but it also retains its original heating assembly too. So you have heat in the passenger compartment along with the air conditioning, vintage air conditioning. New battery in it, power steering, really a nice straight car. I mean, this thing is as nice as you're going to find one. The core support looks like it's the original one and it's undamaged in any way. The fender wells the same way. The fender pans on the inside are just semi-flat the way they should be. The VIN tag plate is still intact on the firewall. Everything under this hood looks just the way it should be. You're not going to find one much nicer than this. Electric fan on the radiator. Underhood pad, the way it would have been released new as an option in 1968. Also painted black underneath the way it should be. It's a really straight engine compartment, a nice running car. It's not in a real radical state of tune, but it does have a cam in it and has a nice sound to it, has a nice pop to it. Great running car. I don't know the horsepower. I'm sure it started out probably as a 300 horse 350, so it's going to be somewhere in that 350, 360 range at this point with the headers and the induction system that it now retains. So, nice car. Let's walk around it and see what we can find about the outside. Camaro. Butternut yellow car, black 67 style striping on it. It is an RS car, which means it does have the peekaboo headlights on it and the backup lights underneath the rear bumper, as it should be for an RS car. Really a nice look with these cars in '68, much nicer than any of the other ones, you know, with the peekaboo headlights on it. Chrome on the front bumper is just as nice and sweet as could be. Bumper fitment, it's really nice and straight on the car. Front valance. Parking lights are just as sweet and nice as you'd ever expect them to be. It does have a rear spoiler. It should have a front spoiler on it too, which it doesn't. We just received the car, so we are going to put a front spoiler on it to give it more of a dramatic look. And it should have one. If you have a rear spoiler, it should have a front spoiler too. Okay, let's go over the aesthetics on the car here. The paint on this car is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's much better than a driver quality paint job. The paint on it is really nice. The fitment of the hood, you can see, is an 1/8 inch the whole way around. Clean up to the cowl area just the way it should be. Hood needs adjusted. You can see it's rocking. It needs to go down just a little bit, like that, and everything's going to fit just the way it should then. Again, we're going over this the first time I've even looked at the car, other than driving it just briefly, but we're going over this together so we know things that we have to address, like a hood adjustment and a front spoiler that it really needs. And we're going to go over it together, and you're going to see what's wrong, and I see what's wrong, and I know what I have to fix. So we'll continue on. Paint on this thing is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. Camaro name, there's no pitting on the chrome or anything on it, no cracks or anything in the grill. Plastic grill is nice. RS designation, absolutely the way it should be. Everything is nice and clean and crisp on the front end of this car. Just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Fitment is absolutely gorgeous except for one adjustment. Let's do the side, see what we have there. Okay, driver's side of our little butternut and black Camaro. Side marker lamp in the front. Chrome is just as nice and fresh as you'd ever want to have. Wheel lip molding. No dings or marks from someone opening the door against it. Raleigh Sport designation, because that's what it is. Look at this. The cowl area to the hood, to the fender, to the door. How much better could you possibly get than the fitment that's on this car? Look at this. It's totally amazing. Tinted windshield in the front. correct wiper arms and blades, trim around the window, not a single mark, absolutely none. Nice clear dashboard on it. The pad itself has to be new. It can't possibly be that nice from 1968 yet. The metal part of the dashboard transitions onto the base of the windshield. Absolutely crystal clear. It has to be a brand new windshield in it, and everything was cleaned up. New seals put on it and put back into place, just the way it would have been when it was new. Front fender to the rocker panel to the door, really nice fitment. Correct mirror for 1968. Of course, the roof, there's very seldom do you find anything wrong on the roof. This is just like wet glass. It's just as nice and straight as can possibly be. There's not one little defect or deviation anywhere in it. The wipes and whiskers are the same as the rest of everything on this car. Brand spanking new and really, really well fitted. You can see they just fit absolutely beautifully along the windows. Door handles, real nice shape. The chrome is beautiful. Door to the rear quarter panel. You're not going to find much better than that. You know, this car looks like it has tinted glass on the sides too. It may be. It's difficult to tell inside, but it may have tinted glass around the whole way around. Rocker panel molding, laser straight, black underneath and across the top the way it would be on an SS car, which we don't know if it is or not, but this particular one is definitely an RS. Wheel lip molding on the rear, just as sweet as can be. Tin, all tin, no mud. Side marker lamp, just as nice as you'd ever want to have. Drums in back, discs in the front. 18-inch torque thrust style wheels with a polished outer rim. Those appear to be probably 7 or 8 inches. These are going to be 8 or 9. They're pretty wide. I'm going to call those 7 and I'm going to call these 8s in the back. But they're a torque thrust style wheel. Really add a lot of pizzazz to this car with that flat black center spoke system on it. Nice car. Let's see what we can find out back for you. Okay, we're at the back end of our little butternut Camaro here. Deck fitment, the same as the hood, an 1/8 of an inch the whole way around. And this absolutely needs no adjustment. It is absolutely as nice as you'd ever find. You can't see it in the video, but running my hands over this thing and looking at the paint job on this car is just absolutely beautiful. By the way, I didn't find a single dent or a ding or a mark or a deviation down the side of this car anywhere either. The hat rack in the back is absolutely brand spanking new. It does have a set of aftermarket, look like fairly high-end speakers in the rack, which means it probably has a different radio in it. But the shelf itself is just as nice and new as can be. Trim around the back window is all brand new. I mean, there's not a mark on it, no pound marks or anything anywhere on that trim around the rear light on this car. Of course, the rear spoiler, because we have to add one up front now. Trim around the tail lights, absolutely new. RS designation on the gas cap, the way it should be. This tail light bezel's the same way. Bumper fitment. That's as precision as you're ever going to find a bumper fit. That is absolutely as flawless as you could find. Rear valance doesn't have any pulls on it. Nice clear backup lights underneath the bumper for an RS car, just the way they should be. Really a great looking car on the back end. There's the fitment, the finish, the way everything goes together on this car so far has just been exemplary. I can't really tell you one single little thing on it so far. This is as nice as can be. Let's see what we can find on the passenger side. Okay, passenger side of our little Camaro. Again, look at the bumper fitment on this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Another new side marker light. All tin, just the way it should be. Sail panel, by the way, it was flawless on that side too. Sail panel is just as sweet and nice as you could ever find. And again, we already went over this. This is literally as flawless a back window fit as I've ever seen, I think, on any car. There's not a single mark. I don't know how they put that on without having a little deviation somewhere. Wheel well molding, same as the other two. Absolutely no issues, no problems. Whiskers wipes the same as the other side. They just fit nice and flush right up to the paint just the way they should be. Door handle new the way it was on the other side. Look how nice this fits. This whole car's this way. It's absolutely stunning. Passenger mirror, great addition. You got to have one of those. I don't know how anybody can drive without them. Trim around this side of the window in the front, the same as the other side. Front, the paint on this car, you can't see it in this video, but the paint on this car is like, and we haven't even done anything. All we did was wash this car. We haven't run any wax over it or buffed it or anything. And the paint is just absolutely that deep on it. Beautiful, beautiful paint job. Again, front door to front fender, front of the door to the front fender, look at that. Again, the fitment here, really, really nice. Of course, we do have to adjust that. We already went over that. Wheel lip in the front. Rally Sport designation. No marks anywhere on all four of the wheel lips. Side marker lamps. Tell you what, I just went over this entire car. You watched me do it. If there's an imperfection, a mark, a flaw in the paint or anything, I certainly couldn't find it. If it was there, I would have pointed it out. I did point out the hood. The fact that we have to add a front spoiler to it. And that'll really make that front end come alive for you whenever you see that. This thing is a 1968 Camaro. It's in a great color for the era, butternut yellow. Everybody liked those yellows and greens and like pastel colors in the late 80s, late 60s, early 70s. The wheels really give it a lot of look. Black accents, black interior, which we'll go over here in just a second. But the car itself is just a fantastic car condition-wise. You'll not find a nicer one. 67, 8, and 9 Camaros are iconic cars in the muscle car industry. Everybody likes them. It doesn't matter what power plant they have in them. Everyone looks at a Camaro 68, 7, or 9. This thing is a great combination. It's a great running car. The condition is exemplary on it. It's available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. We haven't even priced this car yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a nominally priced car. It is a small block. It is an automatic car also. It does have air conditioning and power steering and power brakes. So it's something anyone can drive, you know. It's going to be like driving a more modern car. Take a look at it on your Hanksters site. It might surprise you what you can buy this car for. Fantastic car. Headliner, tight as a drum. We already went over the hat rack in the back. The rear seat, the front seats, all new upholstery, all nice, thickly padded, just like they were when they were new when they left the factory. Side panels in the back are absolutely brand new. There's no marks or wear whatsoever on them. New window cranks in the back, also in the front on the doors. The door panels in the front are also new with no marks whatsoever. The original equipment style molded armrest, still absolutely 100%. Dashboard, we went over that. It's just as nice as can possibly be. Real nice and resilient, and a brand new, fresh padded dash on the car. It does retain its original style console with the staple shifter. A trio of gauges underneath the dash, oil pressure, temperature, and volts. Gas gauge, speedometer. All your vents for the air conditioning. Nice addition to any of these cars. The tri-spoke, split tri-spoke, wooden style steering wheel in these cars, just like they used in the Corvettes. Really, really a nice steering wheel. It does have some aftermarket speakers in the kick panels, which are also absolutely like brand new, to match the speakers in the rear hatch shelf. So it does have an aftermarket, looks like a pretty high-end aftermarket radio in it. All the ducting for the air conditioning is intact. No wear whatsoever on the mirror, no milkiness or anything to it. Original sun visors or replacements, I'm not really sure. They're both in excellent condition. All your soft trim around the headliner, around the windshield is just as nice as it was when it was new. Carpeting is nice and black. It does have a set of GM floor mats in it. This car is as nice a car as you'd ever want to find. Check this out. It has seat belts in the back. And in the front, it has a 3-point harness. So you got a shoulder belt system, which is a more modern system, an option back then in these cars. It does have it in this car, which is a rarity to find a muscle car with that kind of a seat belt system in it. So you have seat belts front and rear to hook up right here for your latches if you so choose to use them. This is as nice a car as you're ever going to find. The condition in this thing is just exemplary. It's as nice a Camaro as I've seen interior-wise for a while. Some of them usually have a little bit of wear. This thing has been completely reconditioned. There's absolutely nothing in this car. We were in our 68 butternut yellow Camaro. Let's see what we got. Works and what doesn't for us here, so we know what we need to fix and what we don't have to fix. Air. Air blows cold. It does blow cold. So air conditioning works. Windshield wipers work. Gas gauge is working. We put some fuel in it. It shows 3/4 of a tank. Speedometer, I'm sure it does work. We'll see here in a second, though. Turn signal right is working. Turn signal left is working. Gauge package. Temperature, we just fired this up, so it's just coming up right now. Voltage is working, 13.8 volts, just the way it should. Oil pressure's holding about 60 pounds, the way it should be. Temperature, as I said, is coming up. Mickey Mouse radio. Horn is not working. Don't have a horn. Let's go for a ride. See what we got. Burger 5. Track's absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. No hands on the steering wheel. Down the road, straight as an arrow. Let's see if it stops with no brakes, straight as an arrow. With no hands, straight as an arrow. No brakes. You gotta have brakes to stop. Yep. We're good. Four-speed overdrive automatic transmission in it. So it does have an OD tranny in it. You can take this thing out and run it all day long at 70 miles an hour on the turnpike if you wish. Nice tight running car. Nice well-running 350. Okay, we're underneath our butternut yellow 68 Camaro RS car. Nice car. New tie rod ends. New brake calipers, new brake rotors, new brake backing plates, all new hardware. I'm going to say inch and a half long tube headers on it, 3-inch collectors. The floor fender pans in the front are undisturbed. The metal on them is just as nice as can be. Your square subframes are really, really nice on this car. I don't see any jack marks or any imperfections at all on them. The floor pans themselves appear to be original and all really, really nice, as a matter of fact. They still have all their structural bends and everything in them on the front. No leaks whatsoever on the engine. It's still hot. Devin and I just came back from our presentation ride in it, and you can see there's no oil leaks whatsoever. New gasket. The motor's all fresh. Looking up at it, it's been out of the car. Everything's refreshed in the motor. New gasket on the pan. New high torque starter on it. No leaks whatsoever from the bell housing area for the transmission, which is a 4-speed overdrive tranny also, by the way, which has been out and renovated also. You can see everything's all new gaskets, the tail shaft, everything on it is nice as can be. Appear to be about 2.5-inch pipes that transition out of the header system on this vehicle. Sway bar at the front has new bushings in it. New pitman arm. New idler arm. All new linkage that comes down for the transmission. Structural support that goes across the subframes in the front to support the transmission itself is as new. I don't see a single thing on the front end of this car, and you can see there are absolutely no leaks whatsoever. Even the tail shaft of the transmission, which has been taken out and renovated, is as new. Again, 2.5-inch pipes go into an H-pipe system, give you a little bit more snot through the mid-range and top end. The floor pans themselves toward the rear to front is just as nice as could possibly be. Original brake lines on the driver's side, original fuel line on the passenger side. Parking brake still functional. New cables toward the rear. This is all original up here, and it's all just as good as could possibly be. Drive shaft has new U-joints on it. There's absolutely nothing I can... The floor pans are really, really nice. There's a little bit of an indent right here. If it were an issue, you smack it once with a hammer and it's taken care of. Another dent here. I don't know what happened. Someone got too close to something. A little bit of an imperfection on that floor pan. Certainly nothing that disrupts the integrity of the floor pans on this vehicle, which are the original pans. Really nice car so far. I mean, I can't see anything. You can see the front of the vehicle is just as nice and new and fresh as could be. The tires are also new on the front and rear. Much larger ones in the rear than in the front. A set of Flowmaster mufflers. Let's see what's on the second half of this, because there's certainly nothing whatsoever to report detrimental on the first half. Okay, again, on our back part of the floor pans, you can see the entire floor pan assembly. I neglected to mention it still has the original factory pinch welds where the floor pans themselves transition onto the and connect onto the rocker panel assemblies. That's all original on this car. Rear subframes, absolutely no dents or dings whatsoever in them, all undisrupted. Torque boxes in the front, your front hangers for the springs, really nice and solid, no rust, no deterioration. There's absolutely none underneath this car, absolutely none. Again, our turbo mufflers, Flowmaster mufflers, staggered shocks in the rear of this vehicle, and it does have a multi-leaf rear suspension in it, but it does have a staggered shocks on it, which definitely help the torque bias of the rear end. I'm going to call them 2 1/4-inch tailpipes going out of the Flowmaster mufflers. 10-inch Chevy rear end, heavy duty. It's either the original or replacement gas tank. I can't really tell. It's in excellent condition. Tailpipes transition out as they should from the factory. Pan across the back is just as nice and sweet as can be. The trunk area, again, undisrupted from when it was new. Drum brakes in the rear. New shocks in the front, new shocks in the rear. This car is a nice original car underneath. I can't really, other than a couple little superficial marks, I can't see a single thing on this thing that I could call it for. Absolutely nothing. This tailpipe might be a little bit too close to the spring. It might cause a rattle. We may have to adjust out of here. I'm sure it'll be a rattle if we don't. So that has to be done. New body mounts up front. Car's a new car underneath. I can't really see a single thing. And again, we just came back from a drive. You can see there's not a single leak with any of the fluids in the vehicle. Absolutely none. This is a really nice Camaro. This thing represents itself really well as a 68 Camaro SS style RS car. Definitely runs like one. It's a fantastic vehicle. The body on the outside is as nice as you'll ever find, and the undercarriage, as we just presented it, you can see there's absolutely nothing that you could call the car for. There's really nothing.